Storm Emeralda's full setlist was revealed recently, and while different people have hyped up different cards, there is one that I've kind of fixated on, that being Jellicent. So what does Jellicent do? Well, the only thing that matters is the ability, Deep Sea Draw. Once per turn, you can draw one card. Then, you may put a card from your hand on the bottom of your deck. I think this card is secretly kind of crazy, and I'm shocked that all the set reviews I've seen are just lightly mentioning this card before brushing it off. Putting a card to the bottom of your deck sounds kind of pointless, but it does have value. At the top of my head, the new Bug Panic cards are about how many Pokemon with the Bug Panic attack are in the bottom 7 of your deck, so Jellicent is obviously quite valuable there. Because this Pokemon is Water type, another card that comes to mind is Misty's Vitality. Decks using this card have to play a bunch of Water energy, so they'll always have 4 to attach from the deck. With Jellicent, you get one card closer to drawing Misty while simultaneously ensuring any Water energy you draw into can be put back into the deck so Misty can accelerate them. Right now, Jellicent just sounds like a niche choice in certain decks that care about keeping specific cards out of the hand. But keep in mind, this card says that you may put a card from your hand to the bottom of your deck. It's optional. You can also just draw a card with no downside. I've noticed some people miss this, but it's incredibly important because it changes this card from being something extremely niche to something possibly worth considering in many different decks. Obviously, while we still have Drakloak and Dunsparce in the format, this card probably won't be worth it. Those other draw abilities are just so much better, there's very little merit in using this one, unless you really want to put a card from your hand to the bottom of your deck. However, this card comes out for us in Delta Rain, all the way in November. We can pretty safely guess that Celebrations won't have particularly impactful cards besides Mew EX, so there's a very real chance that we won't get any super great draw engines between now and rotation. Assuming we don't, which seems likely considering the power level of cards from the past 2 years, Jellicent is already in serious contention as a preferred draw engine for several decks. And Zoroark will have the best draw ability in the game, but it's a 2-prizer. Toucannon has a very powerful attack, but it's a stage 2. Jellicent already has a potential niche as a single prize stage 1 draw engine, though it would be competing with Rapidash in this regard. Jellicent's ability is objectively better than Rapidash's, though I think many decks won't really care about the option to get rid of a card for no reason. The attack probably doesn't matter on either of these, and Jellicent has a larger retreat cost of 2 compared to Rapidash's 1, although Air Balloon takes care of both quite nicely. In a head-to-head comparison, Jellicent doesn't seem much better than Rapidash. If anything, it's worse. However, there is one main thing that gives Jellicent the edge. Jellicent evolves from Frillish. Frillish's Oceanic Gloom, for 1 Psychic, does 20 damage in item locks. While Badoo is kind of ruining the game right now, after rotation, there will be very few options if you want to item lock. You'll have Frillish, Jellicent EX, Journey Together's Tyranitar, and Chaos Rising's Flaffy. That's it. With cards like Prism Energy around, you may be able to item lock with Frillish in many different decks. However, even this isn't really enough to make Jellicent worth it. What makes Frillish and Jellicent crazy is everything else that's leaving the format. Firstly, Buddy Buddy Poffin. This is one of the best setup cards ever printed, and with it gone, Frillish's 80 HP is an objective upside instead of the downside it previously was. It also means that setting up your draw engine is much more of a hassle since you can't, for example, search out 2 Pikipeks at once. Precious Trolley is going too, which again makes setup very difficult. After rotation, outside of the Call for Family attack, there won't be any way to search several Pikipek or Anzorua or even Ponyta at once. However, there will be a way to search out several Frillish. Telepathic Psychic Energy. This card, when attached from your hand to one of your Psychic Pokemon, lets you fetch 2 Psychic Pokemon directly from your deck and put them right onto your bench. Even right now, this card is crazy. After rotation, this will honestly be one of the strongest cards in the game. Not only can this get you multiple Frillish, but it also provides energy. This is the niche that none of Jellicent's competition has. Draw engines are at their best when you can get several of them set up at once. After rotation, Frillish will be far more searchable than Pikipek or Anzorua, will have the item locking capabilities that those cards lack, and searching out Jellicent with just a single Pokepad makes setup way easier than getting out a Stage 2 or an EX. After rotation, there really won't be enough generic Psychics to justify playing a combo like this in a non-Psychic type deck, but it does mean that any deck playing Psychic types will almost certainly be using this Jellicent as well. Let's talk about some of those Psychic decks and what Jellicent will provide. First of all, Mega Chandelure. I said this deck would get much better with rotation earlier, though with the new Altaria basically replacing Latias, that might not be as true as I had hoped. Of course, Chandelure can shut off Altaria with Team Rocket's Watchtower, a card that also shuts off 2 cannon, which is just another weakness that Jellicent does not have. Anyway, Chandelure decks have a very powerful Lampent, whose Spreading Light ability gets 3 more Lampent from your deck onto your board. Not only does Telepathic fuel this attack, but Jellicent can put any Lampents in your hand to the bottom of your deck so you can cheat them out immediately with this attack. Also, keep in mind, we can evolve Frillish into Jellicent EX. Jellicent EX and Chandelure already have decent synergy since Chandelure can help keep something stuck in the active so Jellicent has the time to KO it despite its low damage output. Another major beneficiary of this Jellicent is Steven's Metagross EX. Steven's Metagross already likes playing Jellicent EX. It's not in every Steven's deck, but it's a solid Psychic-type Pokemon that appreciates the acceleration that Metagross provides. This Jellicent is kind of a huge buff for Steven's Metagross stats. Part of the reason that deck isn't great right now is because it really doesn't have the room to fit a solid draw engine. Having 2 different Jellicent helps compress things a little bit and might make it easier to fit. Additionally, in a best case scenario, Steven's Metagross accelerates 1 Psychic and 1 Metal Energy from your deck. However, you really don't have the room to fit high counts of both, so it usually won't take long for you to run out of one type of energy and have your acceleration significantly dampened. Jellicent not only provides much needed draw support to this deck, but it can put any energy in your hand to the bottom of your deck so Metagross can accelerate it later. Mega Gardevoir EX is worth talking about here too. Mega Gardevoir accelerates as much as 5 basic Psychic from your deck, and once again, it's not uncommon to draw into them before you can actually accelerate them. There is a downside to Jellicent here though, which is that Mystery Garden doesn't synergize with Jellicent at all since it's not a Psychic type, but honestly this stadium feels kind of terrible to play, so maybe cutting it isn't so bad. You can also include Mega Floette EX in this conversation since its attack is very similar to Mega Gardevoir's, but also I might be the first person to say Mega Floette EX out loud in over a month at this point, so maybe not. Really, any deck that wants to play Jellicent EX is going to be far more likely to, for better or for worse, thanks to the fact that our new Jellicent friend will help shape up your hand perfectly. Alakazam may also come to people's minds, but I don't think it's too great. Alakazam will feel particularly rough post-rotation, losing to Dunsparce and Enriching Energy sounds like a lot, and Alakazam will probably prefer 2 cannon as it provides a way to punch through Team Rocket's Articuno. But this deck does already play Telepathic, and also probably needs all the help it can get, so I'd expect some amount of experimentation with this card. There are some other very specific things you could do that I don't really think are worth it, like, I don't know, putting Darkness to the bottom of your deck so you can accelerate with Toxtricity. I don't think these 2 cards belong in a deck together, but who knows. Or I guess you could play like Mega Evolution Shedinja, put it to the bottom so ninjas can cheat it out if you're playing a Shedinja deck for some reason, but I think I've just about covered all of the major use cases for this card. I've been really off social media, so if someone else has already hyped this card up somewhere, I didn't know, sorry, but I feel like this card is a really nice addition to the game, and I'm pretty surprised no one else has really been talking about it. If they do end up revealing some crazy new draw engine before rotation, this entire video ages terribly, and that would be kind of sad, but I just really wanted to get this out there. I really wanted to talk about this card because I think it's honestly pretty good. But yeah, that's all. Thank you very much. Subscribe. Bye-bye. The new Azurill is pretty nice too. I like this thing a lot. See ya.